Hello everyone. Just making some little adjustments here. Doing something a little differently now. For some reason I decided to pipe the music through my speakers instead of the microphone. It just seemed to make sense. Yeah, I know you can't hear the music now, but you can hear it now, I assume. So if things are weird in the mix, like if I sound too soft and the music's too high or whatever, let me know and I'll adjust it. All that regular stuff. So let's see, how many people are in the chat right now? We got... Thing doesn't say. I don't know why it never tells me when it starts how many people are in the chat. But so just to make sure y'all can hear me and the music fine, everything sounds mixed and cool, because I can't hear it on my end, so I have no idea. Just waiting for the too many people. I'm happy with that. Okay, so I'm waiting for someone to confirm that everything is good. So music's a little loud compared to my voice. Okay, let's lower that then. Whoops. Is that better? Is that better? 26 people. Oh, let me edit the scene just a little bit here. Slump. There we go. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to jump in, guys. I'm just going to jump in. If you could do me a favor and maybe hop on Twitter. You see my little Twitter handle down there, and let people know that this is happening. That would be awesome. The picture on the background is a little out of place. Only legs. I'm not sure what that means. I'll take 47 people. Okay, let's start. So we saved at this point yesterday. So I'm just going to start. Let's go. Okay, we're on the second flashback. Let's talk to Joey in the past here.
Hi there. What can I do you for?
Echoing Joey. Love it.
You mentioned an assistant. Where is he?
Danny? I have no idea where he is. So we're a bit short-staffed, but nothing I can't handle. We'll handle that costume of yours with extra care.
I remember Abe once telling me...
That gown of yours looks very
I love this
I don't
dialogue.
even think you can get that fabric these days.
Have I become antiquated so soon?
No offense meant, I quite like it. The tiara's a nice touch. Brings out your eyes.
Well, I always thought so. But you are mistaken.
Now I see
We
26.
are not leaving my costume here with you.
I remember when Abe did this recording, he told me that he tried to find a different voice for past Joey. I think Sasha meant the background image with the Wadjet character since the game is covering it. Yeah, it should be. If you, yeah, I decided to mix it up and put that on. I thought that zoomed in Technobabylon image didn't quite cut it, but this feels more Wadjet. It literally is Wadjet. Joey, old flatterer, indeed. Okay. Again, please let me know if the sound is off, because I can't quite hear the mix myself, so please tell me one way or the other.
Why would
I want to make the experience as good as possible for you guys.
Huh. Some kind of band. Danny and Linda Marconi?
I remember Googling old music bands, like, because, you know, a lot of these old bands were headlined by couples back in the day. And God, look at that little Hitler mustache. Oh, dear.
Hey,
Miss Countess, what can I help you with?
you into music? I saw that poster on the wall.
Oh, that's Danny's thing.
Danny,
The guy who runs this place with me, him and his girl, Linda.
they're in a band.
If you can call it that. They play weekends sometimes. He wants to make it big.
But what?
But nothing. Danny...
I mentioned in the stream the other day how I kind of decided at the last minute to add this flashback, which means it's a little more rushed than I would have liked it to be. You get through this bit pretty darn fast. So, I'm sorry about that. Again, I think I mentioned the other day how I was actually quite surprised how much fun these characters were to write, which is funny because I originally wasn't intending on including them and it was only at the very last minute that I decided to do it. And then I ended up regretting it because they ended up being a lot of fun. But by that point, it was like a few months till release, and I didn't want to add too much scope to the project, so that was that. Excuse me.
Do Danny and Linda have regular gigs?
I don't know. Why?
I might want to hear him
Someone
play.
needs to make
Save
a
your
Golden
ignorance,
Wake
lady. That's
TV
fine
trope
advice.
page. I won't disagree. I don't do those things. I mean, I know all our games have Wikipedia pages, TV tropes pages, and that kind of thing. I have nothing to do with them. Someone sets them up. I presume a fan sets those up, for which I'm very grateful. I wouldn't know the first thing about how to set those up, and I wouldn't have the time to maintain them anyway. So I'm really grateful that someone else does that.
See you around.
Sure.
See you around.
Malone.
Hi there. What can I do you for?
How many people get what this has to do with Blackwell? Alright, now I gotta click on that link, so the game is gonna pause for a second. I can't touch the moose, I assume. That looks like a Bullwinkle hat. That's sort of showing my age. You've added to the TV Tropes page. Well, thank you. It's very fun reading that. It is a lot of fun, although going to TV Tropes should come with a warning, because then you're on it all day.
I could not help but overhear your conversation with my colleague. This Danny Marconi. He is important to you, is he not?
What makes you think that?
Have I always known Joey's backstory? Yeah, to a degree.
Changes when you speak of him.
I always knew he was a tailor, and he died by some kind of mob hit, and he did it while sacrificing himself to save a friend. That much I always knew. And that's, honestly, I think that's all you really do need to know. I don't go into too much detail about what happened, because my philosophy as things went on have always been about when you explore a world and you explore, a lot of games are about finding out what happened in the past rather than what's happening now. And I think, yeah, you want to uncover a mystery and stuff like that, but the emphasis should always be on what you're doing now. And the more I progressed with Blackwell, the more I wanted to focus on the stuff that was happening now. The backstory details were there and informed the characters, but I became less and less interested in kind of showing off the backstory, because I wanted to focus more on what they were doing now in the present day and what you, the player, were doing, because that needed to be important. If that makes any sense, which means that my philosophies and goals kind of changed throughout the making of the series, which meant that things got a little muddled, and I'm well aware of that.
You don't think we will understand? Rest assured, we will.
Oh my God, that's right. The character's name is Joey. I've completely. Was that Joey and the moose hat? I get it. I get it now.
I could leave as you request.
I always thought Joey was a detective or a mobster. That's what everyone assumed. That's what everyone assumed, that he was some kind of mobster or a detective, and he wasn't. Yeah, this scene here where
Hell are you people?
there's no interactivity. Joey just
Nothing more.
becomes aware
So
without
close.
any
So
action on the player's part. This goes in that 5% that I mentioned the other day. The 5% that I got wrong. This is part of that
Does not have to
5%.
be.
Life used to be so simple. Then
People
Danny
can be
had to
more
go
than one
follow
thing.
a pipe. He had to make deals with club promoters he couldn't pay. So they showed up here. I told Danny to stay away while I tried to talk some sense into them.
And did you?
He got away. That's what's important. At least, I think it is. I'm not so sure anymore.
Yeah, it's.
You are a
By the time Deception came along, I wasn't terribly subtle about it. Before that, he'd always comment on clothing and stuff like that, fabric and material, but only in a very subtle, not very obvious way. Ooh, I like that sound. I remember, during the last month or so of production, I added, every single sound effect to the game, because I had left it to the last minute. That was a fun
It
time.
was worth it?
I don't know. Sorry.
You don't have anything to say? Anything at
Doesn't
all?
drag on too long. Yeah, that's the important
Not
thing.
really.
Right. So I just head that way.
Yeah.
Well, tell your friend thanks. And
I
if
do
you
love the
see
contrast
Danny-
here with how Jocelyn deals with ghosts versus how
Forget it.
Rosa deals with ghosts.
Doesn't matter.
I've been interested in Murdered Soul Suspect because it was a ghost wearing a suit. Yeah, you're not the only one. I got a lot of emails and messages about that.
My host, are you
People
all right?
making fun of it, saying, "Wow, Blackwell really got grim dark."
Follow me in here. You can never give me a minute's peace. You sure
I heard it was really bad too. I mean, I'm a little biased,
I'll die.
but
I get it now.
I heard it wasn't
We
very
all thought
good.
my uncle was nuts, but he was just numb. He just stopped caring.
Mega Mike says I should have changed her dreamscape.
Trust me, my host.
I could have, but like I said,
Issues
this flashback was added at like the last possible minute. It just couldn't be done.
That is all.
Oh my god, I said the same thing at the same time as Madeline. That's
In
really
time,
funny.
You will feel differently.
Differently.
Yes.
Besides, this is
We'll all
pretty.
feel normal.
Normal. I don't want this to be normal.
Many of your predecessors felt the same. In time, things changed.
Alright, let's get through this. I think this background sound I bought off a royalty-free website. This wasn't done by Thomas Reagan.
But do you think it will be that simple? It will not work. Do you hear me? It will destroy you. My host.
I always...
Contest.
Obsessive Teenage Geek asks,
Contest.
did I always plan on Madeline becoming evil? I always knew she was behind everything, yeah. The way that was revealed changed as things went on.
2:23 a.m. Detective Corey Palmer conducting interview with Rosangela Blackwell. Detective Sam Durkin also present. So, Miss...
I do love this scene so much, because it's like, there comes a point in any long-running series, and I'm going to use Buffy as an example, because Buffy is great at this, where it's like, certain jokes and storylines only work because everything is established. Like at one point, you know, I think like in the 6th season of Buffy, they remark how, wow, does every vampire know Kung Fu? You know, something like that. And here it's like, I finally got to lampshade all the things about Blackwell that I wasn't able to do before.
I was looking for Kendra.
Looking for Kendra in her house.
Yes.
And how did you know she was there? Just a guess?
No, that was just coincidence.
Coincidence. Fine. Next question. What happened to Detective Piero?
You know, I mentioned yesterday that when I recorded Corey and Emil, they're same actor, obviously, he did such a great job, but my friggin' ceiling fan was on, and I'm hearing it now that I have my headphones on, and it's driving me mad. It's driving me crazy. I don't know if you can hear it, but I can. Shall be honest. Let's be
She
honest.
shot herself.
That's a lie. Why would she kill herself? She just wouldn't.
Enough, Palmer. You saw the paraffin test.
Gavin was just
Leah
hungry,
fired
not
weapon.
evil.
I refuse to believe that, Sam.
Believe what you want. Those are the facts.
Not hungry, he just...
Here's some facts for you.
Wanted to
This
live.
lady was chatting with Emil Haskins earlier this evening. Not only that, we have a witness who saw her sneaking into his office at work. How do you respond
His
to that?
office at work. It's complicated.
It's complicated.
No, it's really not. We spoke to the clerk on duty. We spoke to Emil Haskins, a man who is now a widower, I might add. Nobody gave you permission. But
Should have just told
breaking
Ben to
and
add a
entering is still
ceiling
new
fan
thing
to
for
every
you,
room
isn't it?
Corey was in.
I've pulled your file. Do you even know how many restraining orders you have against you?
I've lost count.
I've, lost count.
I think it's somewhere like
Somehow,
8 or
I'm not
9 at this
surprised.
point.
If getting banned from the campuses of NYU and Columbia weren't bad enough...
Incidentally,
Ben
Corey
has
has got a
complaints
cameo
registered
in
against you from
Unavowed.
businesses
I
and
posted a
families.
screenshot of him on
I'd
Twitter.
call Bellevue to have you taken away. But you're banned from there, too. Who the hell are you? And why haven't you been taken in before now?
Palmer, take a walk.
Sam?
I like that too, Mega
Tired.
Mike.
Go
There's
get
no
a
real
cup of
villain.
coffee.
I don't need
They
coffee.
usually have reasons for what they do, yeah.
Don't think
That's
don't
what I
know.
always try to do.
I've heard the rumors.
Villains with
You've
good
got some
motivations are
serious
always the most
trouble.
interesting.
Is this her?
Palmer?
Fine.
Palmer?
Going. But we will find out what happened. It's our damn job, after all.
Ooh, no door closing sound.
So,
Bad
you
Dave.
happy now?
Stay silent. think there's an achievement if you stay silent throughout the whole
I'm more
interrogation.
patient than Palmer. Legally, we can keep you here for 12 hours. You really want to sit here for that long?
Of course not. I only wanted to.
What?
Oh god,
help?
the
You
sound
think you
quality.
helped anyone here?
Sound quality of Rosa during this scene just makes me cringe. I want to drag Rebecca back into a studio and re-record the whole thing. Likes the bacon, says. Hey man, big fan of your games. Very cool to see you actually play. Thank you, Likes the bacon. Sorry. I just love these names.
I didn't do it for your benefit.
You got your reasons, I know that. But me? I got people to answer to. I imagine you do too.
Yes, this is where the Alex Silva scene originally
What are you trying to
came.
say?
Officially, unofficially, there was no trade.
Originally, Durkin here will say the commissioner wants to speak to you and give you a little envelope and send you on your way.
It's too cold.
But instead, I like this better, because now Durkin actually hires you.
You want it in so bad?
He brings you in instead
You're
of sending you to someone
on
else.
the books. We can't even pay you. This case is too high profile. So, what do you need?
And that works so much better because rather than expanding it to like some characters you've never seen or heard of, it keeps it constrained to the characters you know. And I think that worked a lot better. Yeah, I'm gonna activate commentary mode when we get there and play through that scene. I'm not sure if it'll let me do it if I activate commentary in the middle of it. I'm not sure, but we'll try it.
Access to Leah's case files.
Can't do it.
Excuse me.
Those are being boxed up and archived. Anything else?
Cup of coffee?
I'll let Palmer get you one on the way out. Anything else?
Had to do that.
Access to George Austin's apartment.
I'll take care of it.
I'll
Anything
take
else?
care of it. I think Durkin was the first character we recorded for the whole game.
Everything you know about George Austin.
Palmer can get you that. Speak to him tomorrow. Anything else?
Nothing that I can think of.
All right. From now on, you talk to Palmer. He'll be at the front desk tomorrow.
Detective Durkin. Sam, why are you doing this?
My first case involved a kid. 30
I
years
think the
ago.
scene appears to
Nope.
me, yeah.
How about
I'm just zipping through the dialogue
Go
here.
home.
My primary purpose in doing this is to test that the whole game works. And I'm not like a gamer streamer.
Press are
I'm
having a field day.
So
Lots of theories.
if you want to
but
hear me
nothing
talk
to
about the
work
game, I need to zip
You
through to
expect anything different?
bits.
Just be glad your name didn't get...
with. No trace of the Grace.
Joey, I'd
Okay.
like to talk.
What
Whoops.
is it this time?
Wait, no, stop moving. All right, let's activate commentary mode and see if we can get to it. Hello, and thank you for activating the... No, we'll skip that. All right, voice acting, Nishanti. Apparently, no. Apparently, you can't get to it. Because I know I have it appear when you get back here, but I think commentary mode has to already be activated. That was an oversight. I didn't think of that. All right, well, so much for that idea. Oh, well. The scene sucks anyway, which is why it was deleted. Am I playing this on a new platform? Kind of. I have recompiled all of our old games on the new version of the Adventure Game Studio engine, and I'm doing that because it's a lot more compatible with modern monitors, and I'm noticing a lot of folks are having trouble with our old games, specifically Gemini Rue. A lot of people are having a lot of issues with Gemini Rue. In hindsight, I probably should have started with Gemini Rue because it's one of our most popular games and one of the most problematic. But on a personal level, I wanted to replay the Blackwell game, so I did that first. I do have a save file just before it. Let's just move on. I'm sorry, yeah. I guess regarding that deleted scene, I know that... I had it all set up in my head about what I was going to say about this, and then I'm completely blanking on it. I know I've talked before about why I didn't involve Alex Silva and the whole group of spiritual vampires and stuff, mostly because it just wasn't working. It was just sort of revisiting the exact same themes as Blackwell Deception, and I really wanted to do something new and not retread old ground. But most of all, it just wasn't working. It was making Blackwell bigger than it needed to be. And when I realized I wasn't able to use it, I wasn't able to, use Alex Silva and those characters, I decided to just like, I just grit my teeth and cut it. And I know, sometimes when you release the game, you know what the criticism is going to be. And I just knew that the criticism of this game would be that I didn't address the stuff that was brought up in Blackwell Deception. And I just grit my teeth and knew I would have to deal with it. I figured I'd rather have that than have a much worse game. I knew that would be missed, but it would be a much better game. And I decided instead to have a much better game. So, sorry. Some stuff in the chat. I mean, I could test. Vito says you have to test the scene. I mean, I know commentary mode works because I've tested that. I literally just tested it, so I already know it works. So, Gemini Rue is the only Wadjet game I have not finished because, besides Emerald City, as I have not bought it yet. Well, it'll be there when you're ready. It'll be there. What's my favorite game of 2016? That's a very good question. I really loved Final Fantasy 15. I adored it. Like it was, I just couldn't stop playing it. It was wonderful. Let's see some other stuff in chat. I'm just scrolling up here. The reveal about Durkin and Rose's past connection was really touching. Oh, you're very welcome. When I first met Ray, I thought she was Alex Silva's alter ego. Not really. What am I doing? Going back to Corey. Let's talk to Mr. Palmer. What Blackwell game was my favorite? This one, without question. I mentioned this in the other chat, but it was the first Blackwell game that matches what was in my head from the start. I don't think I Blackwell Legacy and Unbound, none of them really quite matched what was in my head. It was just either too colorful or too flat, or I didn't quite get the gameplay right. This nailed it in almost every respect. So this one's my favorite. George Austin's house, that's where I'm going first.
Hi,
Yes, miss?
my name is Rose Angela Blackwell. I was told you'd be expecting me.
Is this about George?
That's right.
I still can't believe it. But here's the key. 12th floor, penthouse A.
Thanks.
Laura, I agree. I thought bringing in Benjiro at the end of this game did wrap it up. At least not as tightly and with a bow on it as much as people would have liked. But it was definitely addressed. Because originally Benjiro was going to be a much bigger part of this game. Originally he was going to be the person you were trying to find. You actually would like track down his house, you'd find his daughter, and there was this much like... There was a lot more there, but instead I kept it to this group of people and their epiphanies and the kind of fallout from what happened. I kept it focused on them, and I think it was much stronger for it. Double Joey. Little tablet. A little MyPad. Apparently you can get phone calls on his iPad, a MyPad, because why not?
Whoever this Michael is, he seems to know quite a lot. So this Michael has a sword. This is starting to get personal.
You'll be happy to know that I created the art for this screen. It's not surprising, considering how lo-fi and cheap it looks. Alright, so let's go out and talk to this roof ghost.
Oh, hi there.
Yes, hi there. What are you doing up here?
The woman who played Tanya, her name is Manani or Manani? I call her Manani Gupta. She was awesome. I haven't worked with her as much as I would have liked. She also played Galatea in Gemini Rue, and I haven't had as much opportunity to work with her. Our schedules never seem to align, but I love her. She just has this wonderful like steely voice. I just love working with her.
Just admiring the view.
The view is private. Or did George let you through? Either way, you're here now. Anyway, I'd best head back in. But I'm sure I'll see you around. Ta.
Ta.
Joey, could you come out here?
What?
I'm just scanning the chat while this plays. Okay. Resonance was my first Wadjet title, followed by Techno Babylon and the Blackwell series. My wife programmed most of Techno Babylon. That was kind of what paid for our child. She worked on that game just before we got pregnant.
Hi there.
I'm sorry, have we met?
Kind of. I think you met my friend earlier.
I see. You're both looking after George's place.
Yeah, something like that. Who are you, if you don't mind me asking?
Cute. Very cute.
Huh?
And I promptly went through
Wait, you're
everyone
serious?
on Steam and GOG.
Whoa, isn't this
That's
the-
cool. That's actually like
So
how
rare that
I always what's kind of neat about the way games are distributed and sold now, versus like back in the day where you had to have retail space, is that you had a very short shelf life. You know, your game went up, and then you had a very limited amount of time to like earn your sales and make a splash before it got kicked off the shelf in to be replaced by the next new hotness. So it's kind of neat that I can. Everything is on Steam. It's all available digitally, and it's there forever. And as you hear about it through someone, and then you could just go get it, and then you like it, and then you might play everything else, and then I have a new fan, and that just increases. That just kind of propagates exponentially as the years go by, and it always gives me great pleasure to hear someone who just discovered everything I've done. You know, I've been doing this for a decade, but they've never heard of me before, and suddenly they did, and I found that really cool. Also, I really love hearing from people who discovered me with my very first game back in 2006. Like someone recently sent me pictures of all the physical editions that I used to make and actually mail out myself back in like 2007. And he had supported me way back when. And I'm always grateful to meet those people because they're the ones who kept me going and alive and, you know, able to pay my bills and mortgage while I was able to get the next game out. So, I don't know. I love that I'm able to do this for as long as I have. I'm just looking at the chat here. I love picking up Blackwell on the Steam sales. Is there any way you could play the original Free Restores of Eternity? No. If I had more space, I prefer buying retail versions.
So you actually live here?
I wish I was able to make the
Yeah.
boxes work
Why so
financially,
surprised?
but
Well,
everyone we did, we
I
lost money on
what I
them.
mean.
It's just
Look around.
a fact
There's
of
nothing in
it's just a fact of
What
life. We
on
just weren't able to make it work financially. It just something would always go wrong, no matter how well we planned. There was always something we miscalculated, whether like shipping costs went up or the boxes were too heavy, and then we went up, like the price tier was higher than we thought, or something stupid, you know. At one point we tried using a pick and pack service, you know, where it got sent to a warehouse and they sent it out for us, and the packaging they used was so bad that half of them broke on arrival. I mean, it was just every time we did a box version, something went wrong. So I just can't do it anymore. You know, it's too expensive. We always lose money, and you know, we need to be very, very careful about how we use our resources because we're a very small shop, and any miscalculation could destroy us. So we don't do it. It's the same reason we don't do translations, for the same reason. It just takes time, and time is money, I'm sad to say. And yeah, there's a lot of things we'd love to do. Anyway.
So, about this place.
I might not have the highbrow taste that George has, but my furniture is just as serviceable as his. And twice as comfortable, I might add.
My name's Joey.
I think this is the first time someone flirted with Joey. No, I guess technically Jamie Graham flirted with Joey.
I don't know who I am.
I'm afraid not.
I admit, I'm fascinated. I know your name, but you don't know mine. It's not often that I'm in this position.
So, are you gonna tell me or what?
I think not. I want to savor this for just a little while longer.
I remember telling Ian, the guy who did the portraits, to kind of make her, you know, give her the physical features of Katie Couric without actually being Katie Couric. So that's who I kind of had in my head when I designed this character.
So what is this? You famous or something?
Or something.
Digital versions are much easier to fix, yeah. Oh my god. I remember with, I think it was Primordia, something went wrong during the burning process, and like one of the files was renamed, and it all went out, and so people tried to install it on their computer, and it wouldn't work. Fortunately, only a fraction of the people who bought the physical version even bothered installing it on their computer, because by that point, the game had been patched at least once or twice, and the superior version was online. So, physical versions are just a pain in the butt. Yeah, boxes do make interesting collectibles. Although, you know, I think I supported Wasteland 2 on Kickstarter, and I had already like finished the game by several months when the box version arrived in the mail. So I mean, it's still in its shrink wrap. I mean, I put it on my shelf and I've like forgotten about it ever since.
Come on, you know my name. It's only fair.
But that's just me.
can't
I'm in a minority. I mean,
Why not both?
I know a lot of people
Well,
really love their
let's
physical
see.
editions, and
Well,
Say
I feel bad about that. But Rose has been out in the cold for all this time. Plans for Blackwell merchandise? Sadly, no. I never really did get into the merch thing. There is a Zazzle store. Here, I'll type the link into chat. Zazzle.com. There's a Zazzle store there, which has like some of the early posters and some, you know, little doodads of Blackwell stuff. But it was never terribly popular, and I didn't really do a lot to promote that store. But some stuff is there if you want to check it out. There's not a lot. I never really kept up with it. Make a Joey plushie. Someone actually sent me a Joey plushie. You know what? I'm gonna go get it and show you. Be right back. It's just on the shelf. Hi. Ooh, rolly chair. Here, check this out. See? I don't know if the camera can capture it perfectly. There was a fan who's... Oh my god, I forget her name. But she posted it on Tumblr, and I contacted her and asked her if I could buy it. But she happens to be local, and she offered to come by and drop it off. So I'm like, all right, that's cool. So she did, and now he's on my shelf next to my Vault Boy bobblehead. So I always like to pretend it's a crossover. Where should I put this guy? I can't really put him anywhere that you can see him, but I'll just play with him mindlessly while I stream. It's like Sackboy. Yeah, I guess it's a crochet Joey. Yeah, I love this thing, and whenever I see my daughter want to play with it, I just sort of, if I have a little fatherly pride. Let's go directly outside, right? Now what am I doing? All right. No, not George Austin. Police station. Play with Joey. I'll just put him right here.
Oh, it's you.
Put him right here on my computer where I
Sam
can see
told
him.
me you'd be swinging by.
Hi, Corey, was it?
No, it's Officer.
The Gilbert
Palmer.
legacy. My daughter literally is the Gilbert legacy.
I'm sorry about Leah.
Don't even go there. I don't care what you saw, or what the evidence says. Leah wouldn't kill herself, and if she did, then she wasn't Leah anymore.
You know, it's funny. Years, like over a decade and a half ago, there was the editor of AdventureGamers.com contacted me. This is before I even wrote the Shiva. Before I was barely even a freeware developer. He wanted to do a commercial game, and he asked me to help him with it. And he wanted to do kind of a police quest-ish kind of game, and he had the name of the title character, who was a cop, named Corey Palmer. And I had completely forgotten all about it. And it's just sort of funny that that game never went anywhere, sadly. But it's just sort of funny that I ended up calling this cop Corey Palmer, because I kept thinking, that's a great cop name. And I was positive that I had heard that name from like some TV show or a movie or something, but I Googled it and I couldn't find anything. So I'm like, I'm going to use that name. And then it wasn't until later that I remembered. I'm like, oh, crap. Well, it's too late now. Yeah.
You seem to be taking Leah's death rather personally.
The chief would agree with you. That's why I'm shackled behind this desk.
How would Joey feel about Joey plushies? I think he'd love it. Abe saw this and he flipped. He thought it was so cool.
So Durkin told me to speak to you?
Yes, I heard.
Palmer does survive. He actually isn't unavowed. I posted a screenshot to Twitter, so it's not a spoiler.
Any information from us, I'll see about getting it to you. But you talk to me, and only me. Understand?
Perfectly.
Guess I can skip all that for now. Let's
Does this phone number mean anything to you?
Not really, but I can trace it for you.
Trace it?
Run the number, see who it belongs to.
Keep hearing the
With
fan.
reason, anyway. Where'd you
Keep
find
hearing the
I found
fan.
it on George Austin's phone.
Oh, we ran that number already.
You did?
Yeah, it belonged to Grace Church. Probably calling for donations or something.
I love how he's
Yeah,
drinking coffee
something.
while he's talking.
Thanks anyway. Well, I'd better go. Thanks for the help.
Sure.
I don't even have a legacy poster anymore. I don't know what I did with mine. Yeah, Grace Church.
If the people who go to these churches worry about their
How do
souls
I
so much,
decide
they
what
should
color
try
a specific
dying
ghost
sometime.
is? Honestly, it's whatever looks good against the background that they're currently in. That's pretty much it. Is it midnight where you are, Sasha? Oi. Pfft. He walks through Joey. Grand.
Hi, remember me?
Yes, and would you please keep your voice down?
Sorry.
Sorry.
I checked with the police. This number belongs to a phone in this church. A man I'm looking for made a phone call from this number. His name is Michael. It's...
I'm afraid I don't know who you're talking about. I am sorry.
Do you know any Michaels?
In my line of work, I know more than I can count.
Golden Wake directly references a Miss Contis. That was my suggestion. I told him to do that. And I think Alfie's original in New York office is across the street from Malone's Tailoring. What am I doing? Right, the telephone.
The telephone that uses this number. Where is it?
Why would you need to know that?
Michael used the phone. Maybe he left a clue behind when he did.
And he could have used any one of a dozen offices in our administration wing.
Really? Over a dozen.
Yes. So, if you want to locate Michael Cooper, you'll...
Wait, Cooper?
Pardon?
You said Michael Cooper.
Isn't that the gentleman you're looking for?
I always have lots of
I just
Coopers
said
in
his
my
name was
games.
Michael.
I had a dog named Cooper. I think I've talked about him
My
before.
apologies. It is quite late and I'm...
Well, thanks. I'll be going.
Stay safe.
Let's see. Oh, Rosa has new email. Abbott leaks. That's a reference to Resonance, because he had, I think that was like when WikiLeaks just came out, and Ray Abbott in that game had a website, had a blog called Abbott Leaks, and this is a reference to that. So yes, Resonance and Blackwell are connected. Someone was wondering what the connections of all the Wadjet games are. That's one connection there. Download case notes. Oh right, I'm supposed to look up.
Huh. So Michael interest.
Originally, this puzzle was a bit different. I think I had to look up Michael Cooper and then look up Gabriel Ullman, and you find out that they went to the same school the same year, and then that was the obvious connection that they knew each other. But gameplay-wise, it just didn't... making that connection was kind of muddled and weird, so I just left it like this. You just have to look this up once. I think Gabriel Ullman might still be in there? Yeah. Yeah, he is.
Excuse me.
Yes.
The Wadjet Eye game connections are like the Pixar theory. I just read about that. It's crazy. Apparently someone spent ages working all that out, like literally like a year or something crazy. People have a lot of time on their hands.
Michael Cooper. He's a priest too, isn't he?
So?
So, it's
Doubt that
pretty
half
big
the world's
coincidence
cities
what
got
you're
nuked
saying.
in the Blackwell verse. Well, I think Resonance takes place in like the near future. It's like one of those, it's like a few years from now kind of thing. It's never specified exactly when. Of all the settings I've worked on, what is my favorite setting? It's hard to say because I've only my own personal projects have always been urban, because I live in a city and that's the kind of story that speaks to me. So I tend to fall back on that, which is why with Unavowed I'm kind of going back to that setting, like that urban fantasy. So I wouldn't say it's like my favorite setting, but it's the kind that I like creating. I do like cyberpunk and sci-fi settings as a passive consumer, but in terms of what I like to create, I love urban fantasy. I love it.
Please stop lying to me.
I'm not lying.
You're not telling me the whole truth either.
Oh, someone from Brooklyn. Nice to meet you.
Made a promise.
Likes the bacon?
He came to me. He was ranting. I should have turned him away. But we roomed. He's
Yeah.
He's in the school. Here's a please. Just
Don't come
Don't
back.
worry.
So, thrown out of a church. I suppose with our record, it was only a matter of time.
The end. Let's go.
It's actually really funny seeing that background because when I first started working on Unavowed, I was testing out, because it's a game where you have several companion characters and they react to different things. And in order to test it, wanted to take a really big background from one of my other games, and I used that church. So it's just funny seeing it in its proper context now. And I remember at the time when I was trying to think of where Father Michael would be holed up. It originally was just going to be his apartment, but I think at this point I was really sick of apartments and offices, and I wanted to put him somewhere interesting. And so I put him around the corner at the school, which actually really worked out well for the final climax, because it got to be on top of a church, which was awesome.
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures.
Oh, this guy. Oh my god, what was his name? The actor, I can visualize his name.
He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake.
I've forgotten his name. He was so good. He was so good, this
I
guy.
will fear no evil, for thou art with me.
I'm gonna remember his name as soon as I turn this off.
Michael?
Oh my god,
Michael
just
Cooper.
people in the chat are talking about how all the Wadjet Eye games are connected.
Just a second.
How to squeeze in Emerald City Confidential, that's the question. Or if you really want to go down the rabbit hole, try to connect all of my freeware games.
Please, I'm here to help.
Help? Oh, I wish that was true. How much help did you give George, or Leah, or the others?
They both died before I could do anything. I'm sorry.
Death is nothing. We all expect to be dead at the end of this. That is the whole point. What about their souls? I knew it. This wasn't supposed to happen.
Plan?
Yes. Our
I wanted
really
Michael to become a
plan.
bestower so
We get
much.
the bestower to
He is a
escort
bestower,
ourselves
but
to
we
the
never
next
get to
world.
see him in action, do we?
Protect us. Instead, you let us be destroyed.
I tried. Honestly, I tried.
Tried. I'm sure that was a comfort to George and Leah while their very souls were being torn apart.
I'm sorry. Whatever is going on.
I see. And what about him?
Huh?
Your friend?
Alright, they talk a lot, so I'm just gonna zip through a lot of this.
Now get out of here. You've been nothing but trouble ever since George went to look for you.
I think I added the little arm shake, using my amazing art skills of moving his arm 1 pixel up. So that's the kind of talent you get from me. I am so sick of guns.
I am so sick of guns.
I love the way she reads that line.
I'm sick of all this.
I don't think her voice meant to crack, but it's still awesome.
That voice. It can't be.
I told you to stay in the other room.
Yes, my host, I know. But I had to intervene.
It's interesting how I mentioned earlier how the flashbacks were added
Fine.
later.
Just make it quick. I'm losing concentration.
So Madeline really kind of came out of left field.
What a pleasant surprise.
Especially if you had never played any of the previous
surprise
games,
is
you would
the
have
word.
you'd probably have no idea what was going on.
Is it not obvious? You freed me, Malone. Brought me back into this world. As befit and
Blah 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 blah. Go outside, Madeline.
That was Madeline.
You know her? That saves time, I guess. Look, maintaining this circle leaves me a bit cranky. Sorry. If you can help, great. If not, well, I've made my peace with it. Just go talk to her. You anoint my head with oil, my cup.
I think I reused this effect in
Goodness and
and Unavowed.
follow me all the days of my life.
I do, and it's in higher resolution, so hurrah.
Blackwell, Malone, it's been a long time since we've been able to converse.
That voice, it can't be Miranda Galvin. I love that lady. Is she on the chat? Is Miranda here? Her Twitter name is Tempest Tossed. So if someone wants to hop on Twitter and say, "Hey, I'm listening to you on the stream,"
Why was George looking for me?
We needed a bestower. A proper bestower. My host and I were not up to the task.
Eh?
It might be due to my time in the void. It might be because my host's soul has been marked by whatever is out there. But in any case, our abilities are limited. We cannot even help lost souls move on. We can see them and talk to them. That is all. Hence why we needed you.
Lucky us.
You should really call me Rosangela.
Forgive me. When you were so, I tend to address those I speak to by their family name. It is just easier that way, and less painful. I'm afraid it is a habit that is difficult to break.
it's a very kind of stretchy reason why the Countess is called the Countess. But I think it works. In Shardlight, the world didn't end. In Shardlight, it was just one country that kind of got bombed to the Stone Age. It wasn't the entire world, but it could be. It probably wasn't. It's probably not far off.
Do you know what's going on?
Excuse me.
Why are these souls being attacked?
I do not know. I wish I did. Like you, we saw it happen. We saw a soul being torn apart and could do nothing. I'm afraid my host became a little
Unreasonable.
after that.
No, it wasn't the world. I know Tiberius and Shardlight kept saying, we were attacked for our resources, and I'm not going to let that happen again, which is sort of his character motivations.
So what can we do? We don't even know what's going on.
Our theory was that you could help move these poor souls into the next world before they were destroyed. But it appears that it did not achieve the desired result.
You could say that, yeah.
He went cuckoo
must
for Cocoa
investigate.
Puffs.
My host and I
I'm not sure any
respect that
Cocoa
you two
Puffs are left by the time Shardlight comes around.
It's been almost 6 months since Joey freed you. How come we're only seeing you now?
I admit the transition hasn't been
Pleasant.
I have had 3 hosts in the third.
All right, let's just zip through.
So how'd you like being on the outside, as it were? I imagine it's better than being trapped wherever you were.
I had thought.
It was kind of implied that, I know when talking with Francisco, it wasn't specifically Australia, but it was an Australia-like place. Like an island country or something, which is why they couldn't leave easily. I disliked Madeline at first, but if spirit guides are really doomed, you can understand her desperation. That was the plan. That was the plan.
Well, Father Michael?
Yeah?
Whoops.
How did you learn what was happening?
You mean that our souls were being taken?
Yeah.
It was a few weeks ago. I was at the bedside.
Okay, he talks a lot, so I'm just gonna zip through.
Anyway.
I mean, if
After we...
Sure.
if you really want to hear every bit of dialogue, you can buy the game.
So you're working with Madeline?
Working? guess you could call it that. I've been too busy being scared to give it any serious thought.
So why'd you send Madeline outside?
Her presence disturbs my concentration, so she's keeping as far away as she can until this is resolved.
What about us?
You're the ones who are going to save my hide. For you, I'll make the extra effort to...
What is...
Oh, this.
I love that line too.
It prevents anything
Did I
serious
skip through that line? I'm sorry if I did.
concentration to maintain, so...
Could you tell me about the Grace group? It was some kind of self-help group?
Play it with both the stream and the commentary. All the Dave, all the Dave, all the
I was a
time.
very different person. I suppose you could call me...
I mean,
an
more
outlaw.
power to you if you do that.
Then I saw an ad in the newspaper. It promised to help folks like me.
If you can stand listening to this voice stammer for, you know, several hours, then you have more stamina than me.
Meetings, but somehow
Made...
I just knew...
I think I can...
What happened at these meetings?
That's just it. I don't remember. Until recently, I never questioned it before. How messed up is that? I'd go, I'd sit down and leave. I'd meet with the other members for coffee afterward. What on earth did we talk about? We must have found something.
Sky73, I
A man.
don't know what that emoticon means. It says Craigasm. I don't know.
Anything else about it?
How many people went to these meetings?
There were 6 of us. You already know about Leah and George and myself. The others are dead.
Who were they?
Does it matter? They are dead. Their souls were taken.
Even still, tell me.
Jeffrey Dutta, Heather Goffstein, Peter Fielding.
I know what it means. I really don't.
Could you tell me about Peter?
Peter Fielding, yes. I never had much contact with him.
Is there a canon way for a spirit guide to move on? Yes, actually, pretty much this. What's supposed to happen is that the spirit guide serves until the. This is never explained in the game because it was just too much to get into. Basically, eventually, a bestower is supposed to die to let every ghost move on. That is supposed to happen after like several centuries or so, where there's enough spiritual buildup where doing one ghost at a time isn't going to cut it. So that was my canon explanation, but it's just a little too weird and hard to explain. So I just didn't bother. So that's why you tune into the stream to find out all this stuff. There's a lot of stuff in my head that I think wouldn't have translated well if I actually explained it in the game. And like I said, the backstory stuff was never the focus. It is very clunky, and there's not a lot of consistency, and I know this. I made a lot of mistakes and plot holes when it comes to the overall backstory and story arc, but I think the individual stories were where my focus always was. And so the big backstory kind of got the short shrift, is that the word? In terms of being as strong as it could have been. So, sorry. Basically, yeah, that is what Rosa did. It's more that she did it kind of as a side effect of stopping Madeline. Honestly, the backstory stuff, if I could do this all over again, I would try to do them all at once before releasing them, because I think what ends up happening is that, I think I mentioned this a few streams ago, where you have all these ideas, and then you make your first game, you make the first episode, and then these games take so long to make that by the time you get to the next one, you've learned how to do it better. And certain plot ideas and story structure things that you already established just no longer work, but you're stuck with it. And that was kind of where I was. And this just exponentially became a bigger and bigger problem with every game. So by the time I got to Epiphany, I was kind of stuck with all this lore that didn't quite work in terms of story structure. It was very problematic. So I kind of just tried to ignore it as best I could, and again, focus simply on what was happening now. I figured as long as I can make what was happening now satisfying and interesting and meaningful and all of that, then I think it would still work. And that's another reason why I had to end Blackwell where I did, because if I had continued going on, the problem would have just gotten worse, and it would have started making no sense, and I would have had to like start inventing various like timelines and retcons to sort it all out, and I didn't want to do that. So I hope I can be forgiven for all of that. I think it still managed to work. And again, I'm my own worst critic. A lot of this might not mean anything to you guys. And y'all still like it regardless. And I know the series has a lot of fans, and I'm eternally grateful for that. And I still, despite all of its problems, I adore Blackwell. I adore it. I play it, and I miss them. I miss these two guys a lot.
How exactly did Peter Fielding die?
Why? Are you going to try and find his spirit? There is no spirit. It's gone.
Sherlock had the same problem with the last season.
There was some I read about his death in the obituary.
It had problems, I'll say
His
that.
funeral, sadly, but I said a prayer for him.
Can you tell me again?
Oh, wait. Whoops. What am I doing? Get back.
I told you before, there's no point.
Just humor me.
Rosa definitely moved on.
Some kind of...
I did not want to have Rosa as a ghost. I just didn't want to do it.
Tell me about...
Yes,
Is this...
No, see...
Okay, now I think we need to go...
All right.
I gotta go meet the Peter.
He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul.
Doctor Who has it easy, because it's a show that is built for retcons and cast changes and all sorts of stuff.
Madeline?
Yes, Blackwell.
Likes the bacon, asks me if I'm a fan of the Dresden Files. Yeah, I might have read all of the Dresden books 4 times.
Do you know anything about Peter Fielding?
I have never met him. He passed away before I became bonded with my host.
Michael believes his soul was already taken.
He might be right, but he may not be. If his spirit still exists, you are the ones to find it.
Well,
I think if you could talk to Madeline as Joey.
Hey.
Yes.
No.
Right.
I must have skipped through that little funny dialogue about Madeline doing her duty and Rosa trying to order Joey around. I must have skipped through it, and I'm sorry, because that's a really funny line. Actually, I think I wrote when I was first doing Blackwell Epiphany, there were certain... I started writing dialogue between characters just for fun. I would just imagine Joey and Rosa in the snow in a certain location, and I would just write dialogue for them, like with kind of no context, because I didn't quite have the story written yet. And since I knew Madeline was going to be there too, I had included her, and that dialogue exchange was part of what I wrote, so I'm glad I got to sneak that in. Where am I going now? Oh, right, I got to look up Peter Fielding. Bestowers are pretty rare, I'd say. But I'd say they're more common in cities.
So Peter Fielding owned a gym in Murray Hill. Worth a visit, I suppose.
Bye, Maxwell's Demon. Bye, Maxwell's Demon. Fields Gym. The music's very faint. Oh my gosh, what happened there? Okay, there it is. It's funny, this character was actually supposed to be a kind of a more important character. Originally I had designed the whole Peter section to be completely different. Originally, my backstory for him was that he was kind of like an office drone, very overweight, very unhappy, And when he joined the Grace group, he really got into personal fitness and started this gym. And so that was his story. And this was going to be his girlfriend, who you could talk to and get some information about Peter. But it's a very Blackwell story, and it had a very Blackwell solution where you had to find like an old picture of him and kind of show it to him and try to get him to confront his past self. But ultimately, like, the puzzles and the actual interactive parts of it were very, very boring. It just wasn't interesting at all. So I rewrote the whole backstory to what it is now, and I think it works much better. You asked.
Hey, anyone in here? Anyone? Please. Well, that was disappointing.
Okay, let's do it.
Nobody here.
Hey, does it look right?
Hey, who's that voice actor?
Seriously, does it look right?
Does what look right?
The light bulb. I could swear it was blinking.
It looks fine to me.
Huh. Gotta do everything myself.
You know, my reference picture for this character was this improv teacher I used to have, who was an older guy, like mid to late 50s at the time, and maybe low 50s. I'm highballing him, but he was in such amazing shape. This guy had, just like muscles. Like, this guy was in such amazing shape. Anyway, he was an actor. He was an improv guy, and I based, when I came up with this character, I used him as a reference.
Hey, friend, can we talk for a second?
Are you sure there's nothing wrong with that light?
I'm no expert, but it looks fine to me.
Why does the music keep changing volume?
Hey.
Okay.
So, how are you feeling?
I love this line.
Why?
You don't feel strange at all?
What do you mean?
Well, just hypothetically.
First time Dave played a ghost. This is true.
Explode?
What, like indigestion?
Not quite.
I am on a strict diet of wheatgrass shakes and fiber. Indigestion is the last thing I have to worry about.
Dave played a ghost. Oh, technically I played one in Convergence, if you count Joseph Mitchell. Yeah. Not a ghost you have to save, though.
So, you run this place with your old man, huh?
Sort of. He built it when he left the army.
So
I think we can leave now. I know I could talk to characters more, but our time is limited, so I want to get through as much as possible.
looks like some kind of headshot photo.
Sky says the music is playing in the gym, so outside it's lower. Yeah, but it's so low that I could barely hear it even through the headphones, which is... I'm debating whether or not it's a problem worth fixing.
Tanya Corsi. Hey, wait, is that...
Tell me if you can see the Katie Couric resemblance. For the forgotten girlfriend. So, well, at least she's getting in really, really, really good shape. We'll say that for her. Right. I think we gotta look up.
Tanya was the host of the Good Morning Show. I remember hearing that the channel...
Actually, I can hear the music better now, so maybe it's fine.
So, have you heard of the...
Tanya Corsi?
No.
You could say...
It's one of those things where it's like, at this late date, do I really want to start fiddling around with the code to try to make it better, potentially breaking something else and having to test this for days? And I know I misspelled Corsi, and it still worked because I always kept misspelling it when I tested it, and I was sick of getting it wrong. So I added that in because I'm sure someone else would have had that same problem. So yeah, very, very good call. I'm a Euro. I'm you have yet to correct me on pronouncing your name, so I'm assuming I'm getting it right. Let's go back to Peter, shall we?
Familiar faces. It is a relief to see you both.
We found one of the Grace Group spooks, Peter Fielding.
I see. Is he still intact?
Yeah, he tried to get me to join a gym.
I thought as much.
You thought so. What do you mean?
You know as well as I do. A spirit cannot be moved from this world until it is spiritually ready. It would appear that is also the case here.
Ooh, 33 people in the chat.
So wait, this is our fault?
Whatever do you mean?
Leah, George. Just by trying to save them, we destroyed them.
Everyone pronounces it however the hell they like, and that's cool by me because I was a stupid weeaboo when I came up with this name. What is a weeaboo? I hear that term a lot. What is a weeaboo?
Listen to me. Whatever or whoever is taking these souls, they were marked long before they died. All we can do...
You've been around the block a few times, so to speak. Nothing like this has ever happened to you before?
I'm a hero. I'm a hero. I guess you're right.
Such a thing is
I'm a hero
difficult to
Akago.
contemplate, and to witness it, even more so.
So what? We just leave the spook to rot?
Of course not. It has been known for some spirits to become aware on their own. The right face.
Yeah, there's no way I'm going to be done by
anything
5.
can change.
No way.
And if that happens to
I'll just have to
fail,
stop by then.
no. Our duty is to save him, and save him we shall.
How?
thank
The
you.
usual
I'm still not
rules
gonna
have
be
been
done,
chucked
but
out the
I'll get-
window.
you know,
We
I'll
make
go
a
as long
move
as
and
I
he
can.
gets hammered, and we're not going to let that happen. Not again.
It is a dilemma for certain.
A weeaboo is an anime freak, someone who is super obsessed.
But what about George?
From my understanding,
I've never watched a lot of
they
anime.
were aware of their death when they were taken.
Yeah.
There were some that I
And
liked.
there's your answer. They were spiritually ready to leave this world, and so were vulnerable.
I got into it briefly. I had a friend who took me to see Paprika, and I really, really liked it. And I asked her, and I tried to watch some on Netflix, but all of it was just weird, and I just couldn't get into any of it. And so I asked her to like send me a list of stuff that I might like.
We need to think
Of course. I must
I liked some of it, some of it I didn't. But I did watch Death Note, which I was really upset by that because I had already written Blackwell Conversions at that point, and it's basically the same story. So that was upsetting.
He's okay? Peter's really okay?
He is still deceased, but in all other respects, yes. He is as well
Paprika, when I think about it, I don't know why I liked it so much because it made no sense, but I liked it a lot.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I never even considered that Peter's soul could be saved. And maybe Heather, too.
One thing I'm very proud of, there was one late addition to the game where I actually made Madeline and Peter start to like each other. And it was this, pardon the word, but this epiphany moment for me where I like it when I enjoy like a television show or a movie or a game. I enjoy it more when characters like each other, you know? The reasons why people like each other are so much more interesting than why they don't. And having them come to or you think they're coming to an understanding and kind of finding some common ground was actually very rewarding and heartwarming in a way. So I was able to like, you know, break your heart that much more later on. So I was very proud of that because originally throughout the entire game, like Madeline was outside and Peter was inside. They never talked to each other. Nothing ever changed, and I think it's so important that I think you would develop an emotional connection to a character. This is my theory. You develop an emotional connection to a character when you see them change and grow and evolve, and you see this relationship change. And you're involved with it, and I think that you develop an attachment to them because you've seen them grow, which is why I can like play around with that later on, which is why what happens later is so effective. I wish I could say I had done that on purpose. It's just sort of what happened. Okay, the chat is talking about anime at the moment. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Bleach was my first anime. There's an anime called Bleach? Really? I don't know this stuff. Naruto. I've never watched Naruto. I remember watching something called Mikado. I spent like a day watching that. It was like 16 little episodes, and it was like the self-contained story, and it was very interesting.
So, what's your
I like that
plan?
one.
We are approaching this from ignorance, and possibly from fear. Before I was trapped in the void, I was a spirit.
Bleach is about ghosts. How about that?
I can learn much from a spirit by looking at it and talking to it. If Fielding's soul still exists, then it must be brought here.
And Heather's soul.
Last Airbender is very,
And hers, of course.
I think, Asian inspired, but not specifically Japanese. I do love The Last Airbender. I'm waiting for my daughter to get old enough so I can watch it with her.
Peter Fielding's spook is at the gym. It's not too far away. You can talk to him there.
Are you kidding? I step out of this circle, who knows?
Vito, yes, that's exactly what happened.
There's a good chance I'll be an aware spirit, just like
Avatar
Vito,
and Legend of Korra are amazing. They are. I still think I've learned so much from Avatar.
We need to awaken him before.
Okay, I mentioned earlier that I had this philosophy of how it's very important that what's happening now is relevant and interesting, and I actually came to this theory by watching Avatar: The Last Airbender, because whenever they do have a flashback or they talk about something that happened in the past, it's always relevant to what is going on at the moment. They go to a place and like, oh, here's this battle that happened here 500 years ago, and it actually is relevant to what they're actually doing now. And I always found that really, really amazing that they managed to make it work that way, which is why I kind of resisted doing those flashbacks with Joey and Madeline and Jocelyn, because it wasn't relevant to anything that was going on in the present. But anyway, yeah, that's how I think of these things now. And my attitude and theories about these things tend to change yearly. So a year from now I might have a different theory or a different technique, but that's how I look at it.
Won't awakening these ghosts destroy them? Aren't we trying to avoid that?
Don't be absurd. We'll put them behind
Absurd.
the They will be safe there.
And how are we supposed to do that? Spooks like me can't enter the thing.
This might surprise you, Malone, but I did think of that. Come here. Take this.
I don't think he'll forget about Rosa.
What's this thing?
But I think he'll forget about
Holiday
being a
totem.
ghost,
It
if
was
that makes any
made with some of
sense.
my essence. The circle was created in
I haven't watched the
Manchester,
movie. I hear
so it
it's
will make
just
us
absolutely abysmally bad.
When you awaken a spirit, use the totem to send
Wow,
them
the,
directly here. They will remain safely.
I'm looking at the volume levels on the mic, and it seems really high.
So I'll be
Should I lower the volume, or is it okay? Let me know.
Ghosts?
I am afraid so, my host.
Well, I suppose it can't be helped. And I guess it will be nice to see them again.
Yes.
Relevant flashbacks, but wouldn't you say it can make the story a bit more predictable? I'm not sure what you mean. Anything can make things predictable if done badly. But like I said, I added those flashbacks kind of at the last minute. So because even though they weren't relevant, I still felt it was important to have them there, which is why I put them there.
Is there anything else you can tell me about Peter?
Okay, if
Anything
my
that
voice
can
is
help
fine,
us?
then it's fine.
Of all the people in our group, Peter was the one I spoke to the least. I think George once belonged to his gym, even took personal training sessions for a while. But George wasn't really the personal fitness type.
Actually, I have two you probably noticed I'm drinking water and tea, because during the last stream I finished the tea, and I had nothing on my table to drink. So I filled another glass with water just to have something extra.
I need to know everything you can tell me about Heather.
Well, there was one thing. It was a confession of sorts, you see, and she trusted me.
What was it?
Laura, actually not at all.
It was a confession. It might have been a long time
I mean, the
ago,
thing
but
about
was
it is that
still a sacred trust.
regardless of what a person does or what their background is, they're still a
Does it
person.
really matter?
And it's like I'm not exactly a globetrotter, but I have done a bit of traveling. I spent a year in Korea. I used to work for a Chinese company. I went to China a lot, and I did, I've traveled to several European countries and things, and it's like, if I learned anything, is that people are kind of the same all over. We all kind of want the same things, and so people are kind of people no matter where they come from or what their background is or what their job is or whatever. So, I mean, I just wrote Heather as a person, and that's all.
I guess we should get going.
One of my
Can I
favorite
do the-
quotes from the Blackwell games. Let's see.
Yes, my host.
It's all right. Yeah.
I don't feel the cold, my
I love
host.
this bit. I love this bit.
know. Just stay, please, and thanks.
It is my pleasure, my host.
I actually kind of teared up when I wrote this, knowing what was going to happen later. My favorite quote from a Blackwell game. I'm actually kind of. I really like the line from Deception when Rosa says, "Is she legal?" And then Joey responds with, "Legal? She's dead." I really like that line. I can't think of anything specific offhand. Knowing that Unbound and Convergence are connected, as soon as you hear someone talk about getting strangled, you probably conclude it was the Countess instead of it being a mystery. I mean, well, that was the point. By Convergence, when you heard someone was strangled, suddenly you're like, "Oh crap, it's the Countess." And it wasn't like Frank was revealed as being strangled right away. So, and also the Countess appears 5 seconds later. So, you know, I don't know. Basically, my answer to anything like that is, if it works, it works. You know, no battle plan survives first contact with the enemy and all.
That's far enough.
Whoa.
Oh, come on. It's me.
Sorry. Bestower or no bestower, I'm taking no chances. Get back.
You might be a king or a little street sweeper, but one day you two will be swinging with the Reaper. Whoa! Chat got dark. Anyway, let's go. Alright. Quintessential Wham line. Is that from a Wham song? Okay, where am I going? Let's go to the newsroom. Let's talk to Heather. Let's talk to Heather. Let's go in. Oh god, I cut like a whole mess load of puzzles from this area. Well, I say I cut. They were never implemented in the first place. Whoops. I was trying to... originally, this background extended like way beyond this point. It was a scrolling background, and you could actually go in there. And originally, it's like my idea was that there was another working girl living in Heather's old apartment, and you could talk to her as Rosa. And the puzzle originally was that Heather had hidden something there when she was living there, so you had to like go in and find it. But it just, I don't know, it was very weak, because I found the character of I forget what I called the woman who lived there. Her character wasn't interesting, and I couldn't make her interesting, and she wasn't relevant to anything. And
come on, quit it. We got a job to do.
Whatever.
So I cut it, and I did what I ended up doing instead. I had all those puzzles in the Vantini bar instead.
Hey, how'd you get in?
Ah, hello, miss.
Answer my question. How'd you get in?
Oh, the gate was open. Is that all right?
Sure, I guess.
That is Shelley.
Just be sure to close it when
That's
you
Shelley voice acting Heather.
Get in trouble.
She was the voice. She was the casting director for this game, and it was the first time I ever used a casting director, which is why all of the actors in this game are new people that you never heard. Unless you've played our later games first, in which case you might have heard a lot of them.
Excuse me, miss?
Oh, hi. What's up?
It's always Shelley. Well, Shelley's one of our heavy hitters, so there's no coincidence I like to cast her a lot. And she's like hit the big time. She's in so much stuff now. You're going to be seeing a lot of Shelley in just like animated stuff. She's now oh god, she was in the Walking Dead series. Oh my god, what was the character she played? She was in 2 episodes, like as a reoccurring character. Someone whose last name is Garcia. I forget. I think Kate Garcia. If you've played the recent series of the Walking Dead Telltale games, she was Kate Garcia, and I keep meaning to play it.
You sure you should be out here?
Why shouldn't I be? It's perfect. It's so nice to finally
Kate
have a night
Kate,
enough
yep,
to enjoy
that's it.
this place.
Clear night, right.
I'm just remembering a conversation I had with Ben about her sprite design.
Is your...
Oh, you came from Ray.
And when the he originally designed her sprite.
I don't know.
And she looked really, really young. Like, she looked 12. She looked 12 or 13. She looked really young, and considering her, you know, her vocation, it was kind of creepy, and I kept telling her to make her look older. And he never quite got it right. And finally, I just said, no, just give her bigger boobs. Just do that. And so he did. And that did the trick. Yeah.
Well, Heather, I have to get going.
Sure. I'd leave the gate open, but for some reason, I don't think that will be a problem for you.
Wait, I think I need to ask her about more stuff.
So, tell me about this Ray character.
I really shouldn't. Ray is really exclusive with the clients we're given.
Well, Heather, I have to get going.
Sure. Drop by anytime.
What am I doing? Oh, I was really proud of one thing. This is such a silly thing to be proud of, but like if you see what direction Joey's facing, and then you switch back to him, he's actually facing the right direction. I think if I face this way, I think he should be facing, or no? Okay, maybe I didn't. Oh, and Joey turned around. I guess Joey turns around while during the transition. All right, whatever. It still works. All right, let's get out of here. Now let's go to... Where am I going? Police station. It's funny, sometimes I'm always completely wrong about what people like. I thought that more people would like the Heather Tanya story more than the Peter Maggie story. But just based on what I've seen on forums and stuff, people tend to prefer the Peter Maggie story. So what do I know?
Do you know anything about someone named Ray? I don't know who he is, but I think he's involved with prostitution.
Prostitution? Is this related to Leah's case?
I don't know. It could be.
This just gets better and better. Anyway, Ray, let's take a look.
Officer Obama. Whoa, he's typing while drinking coffee. Now that is a skill.
There was a raid on a bar called Vantini a few years ago, and someone named Ray was taken in for questioning. No charges were made.
Just Ray? No last name?
No. Whoever Ray is, that's his full legal name.
Did you sneeze,
Anyway,
Tanner?
here's the address of the bar if you need it.
Thanks.
Someone just typed Gesundheit into the chat. Oh, okay. Because I have the headphones on, I couldn't hear. Apparently she didn't sneeze, so I don't know why you're saying that. Peter's bleh for you because I voiced him. Right. Okay, let's
Well, I
go.
better go.
Vantini. Someone asked what the origin of Vantini was. I was trying to come up with the name for the place, and I was in a cafe, and I looked out the window, and I saw a van. That's the origin of the name. That's your window into the creative process, guys.
Will you look at this, Denise? Someone brave enough to join us in this weather. Well, brave or stupid, anyway.
I mentioned in some other streams that I hated to have like young people voice old people and vice versa. And when I heard the audition for Ray, I'm like, oh my god, thank God, a legitimate old person. But she wasn't. She came in and she was like, you know, early 40s. Her name is Colleen Gallagher. And no, not Colleen Gallagher. Oh my god, what was her name? I can visualize her name. She goes by the name Mistress B, and I think I gave her a shout out here.
It's a painting of a woman dancing. It's dedicated...
Yeah, she's a burlesque dancer, much like Abe and Rebecca and the woman who plays Lisa Piero. Yeah, I'm sensing a theme here. Oh my god, what was her name? It's going to drive me crazy. It's been years since I've worked with her, obviously. She also played Dr. Chigua in Techno Babylon. But yeah, it turned out she wasn't a legit old person, so, you know. Wait, I'm just scrolling through the chat because you guys are saying stuff. Oh yeah, that's Abe's portrait. Oh yeah, let's do the Easter egg. Let's do the Easter egg because that's my favorite thing in this game. This was like a day, I implemented this during this day where it's like we were, about a month or two away from our kid being born, and we were trying to find a new place to live, and we were going to open house, and I was like really stressed out over everything, and I just wrote this for the fun of it, and I put it in the game.
What
This
the?
little Easter egg.
You see that? Whoa!
My little sheep effect. Yeah, it's where Joey talks to it's every
Whatever
character
this
that
place
Abe
is,
Goldfarb has
it's
voiced
not
in.
kosher. I think we're in space. Are we in space? Because this really looks like space.
You can see how low res some of these guys look.
Does that mean you guys will implode? Because that would be awesome.
And Xander, I actually had to shrink down because he was huge, because he was done in much higher resolution.
Trust me, we're not in space. You lot are missing the bigger picture.
Horrible
Question
northern
isn't
accent.
Where we are, but why are we here? Sounds like he's gargling gravel.
The idea here is Abe is literally making fun of all their voices.
He's trying to sound tough, but I don't buy it. That's not the point, mate. Think about it. I'm thinking that I
no
wish
idea
I still
what
had
that
my
thing
shit.
is, but
God, what an annoying voice.
What
Listen to
about
that
you, little guy?
Sounds like, can't you fly out there and bring back help?
My only regret here is that I couldn't make their mouths move. It was just too much work for a little Easter egg.
I'm pretty good with robots. You want a jetpack? Excuse me, fella. I was wondering if you could help me out. He can't hear me. It's like talking to a stone. I gave Hero a jetpack once.
Yep.
He's due to re-enter orbit any week now. Hey, guy. A little help here? Nothing's resonating.
Yep.
No. Nobody messes around inside me except the boss, or shiny gynoids.
Bloody hell, stop and think for a
I just
blasted
love
minute.
this.
Why are we here? What led us here? Who can say?
This is the original version of Rabbi Stone before he was
All
remade.
things have a pattern that can be followed. So, what's our pattern?
Let's get out of here.
That was interesting.
This game gives you an achievement for doing that too, which all right, now let's back to the game. Back to the game.
Excuse me.
Yes, it was the NYU music.
Yes?
I'm looking for Ray. Do you know where I can find him?
Ray, huh? And why would you be
Looking for Ray. I would have added Liam Stepford, but I don't have a time machine because Resonance came later. That would have been really funny. The next time I do that Easter egg, I'll include Liam Stepford, and I guess Tiberius, and who else? Doc Dammers from Golden Wake, and who else? I think that's it.
I'm looking into a death. Ray knew the victim.
Oh? In what capacity?
She was a working girl, Heather Dofsky. She worked for Ray, and now she's...
Oh, did I say I meant Resonance, yeah.
I see. Worked is the appropriate word, I suppose.
Your employee?
Yes. You want to speak to Red?
Well,
I mean, I could go even farther and have him like every little minor character he's ever done. Like there are a bunch of small characters from Emerald City Confidential and the new guys that I didn't include.
hi, Ray?
Rosangela, was it?
So Heather worked for you. Can you tell me about her?
It's been, gosh, several years. I'm afraid I can't tell you much. She was very young. Very pretty. She's really dead? How did it happen?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out.
Is this a police matter?
Not directly. I'm working with them, but I'm pretty much on my own.
Well, in that case,
Ask me whatever you like. Da-dun-dun. Da-da-dun.
You said Heather left your employ.
Da-dun-dun-dun.
She packed up and left.
And you were okay with that?
You think I would drag her back against her will? Absolutely not. And what would be the point?
I wouldn't add the guy from Pokemon because it's not one of my games. I mean, Abe has done a lot of work. If I included every character he ever did anywhere, that would be a lot. He was in Pokemon, yeah. He was he's got one reoccurring character. I think he's a trainer. And he also played a role where he was like a Pikachu obsessed filmmaker. But he's actually a very sweet, nice character. He's not as crazy as you think a character like that would be. I don't know their names, but
How does this business work exactly?
There's no bedroom upstairs, if that's what you are asking. I own several apartments in the summer.
it's funny the way the business of prostitution works in this game. I'm sorry to say I don't know a lot about how it really works, but I got it all from Lawrence Block books. Whenever he has a prostitute in one of his books, it always works like that. There's always someone, like a Ray, who owns a bunch of apartments and just sort of pays for their living and that kind of thing. So I don't know if that's how it really works, but that's how I say it works in Blackwell.
So you work here?
Not directly, but I suppose I'm as much a fixture here as anything else.
Did Heather have any enemies, an obsessive client, or anything?
I suppose anything is possible, but not likely. I screen our clients very carefully, and I keep very careful records.
If you kept careful records, does that mean you have a list of Heather's clients somewhere?
No, I'm sorry, but no.
That would have been cool. Actually, as Laura says, I thought the bartender was Susan Lee. That would have been cool. Except I'm not someone who, I don't know if someone who was on antipsychotic medication should be working near alcohol. But
well, I guess
so. For what?
But actually, I'm going to explain who this is in a second. I mentioned, I think during the last stream, that there was a fan art contest, and the winners of the fan art contest I turned into minor characters in the game, and this was one of them. And her name was Denise. I think her Twitter name is like Sunny, something like that. I don't know, but this is what she looks like, and so she's in the game now.
What can I get for you?
God, the voice, the change of quality. I mentioned in the last stream that I'm going to be complaining about that a lot. That ain't going to stop anytime soon.
I better not drink.
How about a coffee or something?
No thanks, I already have one.
I see.
Alright, I'm just going to quickly do the puzzle so we can move on.
How odd. Denise.
The achievement was called Goldfarb Digger because of Abe Goldfarb, and I am clever. Oh yeah, I had that scroll down just to show you that
Damn it.
There was more up there. She actually wasn't, I know. But I mean, it's not like, it's just that kind of medication and alcohol don't mix. Presumably she's off of it by this point, so yeah, I guess it's okay for her to work in a bar. But yeah, I thought about that too when I saw the.
What are you doing?
Trying to keep warm.
Right. Carry on.
I thought about making it Susan, but you know, she won that fan art contest fair and square. So, oh yeah, making Rosa fall on her butt is always fun.
You're not seriously going to try that, are you?
Quiet. Let me concentrate.
Let your eyes jump and pray. Sometimes you just can have fun with your characters.
Jesus. You okay?
I'm fine.
Be careful.
I love how this little indentation appears and it gets darker and darker, I think, every time you jump. Let me see.
Are you?
Shut up.
Ooh, it looked like that one hurt.
The sound got a little screwy, didn't it?
Yes, Joey. It hurt.
Just saying, if it hurts, maybe you should stop doing
it. Making Rosa fall had the same satisfaction of getting Joey hit with a saxophone. I won't disagree. I'm doing it again because...
Yes, again.
Walk away, this is stupid.
Probably the smartest move. I honestly can't look anymore. Darling, could I point out the obvious?
No.
Maybe you should leave the flying to the guy who can, you know.
I forgot about that line. That's funny. All right, one more time because I just can't stop.
I on it. Not saying a word.
Yeah, the sound is a little... I wonder if the sound was like that to start with. All right, let's do this for real now. Coffee.
It's now a puddle of foul, coffee-flavored water, but at least it's melted. Hey, Joey, check out this dirty rag I took out of the dumpster.
I got nothing. You want to act like a crazy homeless person? Be my guest.
I do love that line. Ooh, look, a little stray... I can't even point at it, but a little stray magenta pixel on that rag. Well, oh well, nothing I'm going to do about it now.
I think I got it all, but I'm not carrying around this wet rag. Good thing there's a dumpster here.
Wait, don't push it.
Oof, Ow! I don't know what that was supposed to do.
I think I had an animation of Rosa kicking that I ended up not using, so I decided to use it here.
I honestly can't look anymore. Huh? How did you do that?
I flew.
Joey in this whole scene, GDI Rosa?
You know, we've been through a lot, you and I. But sneaking into the secret office of
Rosa has a
like
cold
Heather,
shoulder.
this tops the list.
Cute. Da 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 da. Alright, let's just do it.
Okay, let's see here. Client list, client list. You're kidding me.
You know, this is one of those things that was originally placeholder.
Client list.txt.
There originally was going to be a little computer puzzle, but
For us.
I just kind of... I added that little placeholder dialogue as a cheap way of getting me through it so I could test it, and I just never bothered changing it.
And we've got it. Some security.
I guess with the secret door and paying...
That...
Huh.
Jan and I, my wife and I were joking a few days ago that it's a lot more topical these days considering what happened with Hillary Clinton and her emails. Bye-bye.
Ahem.
Bye-bye.
Oh. Hi.
Looking for the bathroom.
I was just looking for the bathroom. Is it up here?
The bathroom. In the office, behind the secret panel.
Yes.
I've been meaning to glue that.
I agree, Amiro. I'm staying away from that too.
But first, give me that memory stick.
Sorry if I ever so slightly brought up politics. It won't happen again.
Thank you. Now get your coat and leave.
I love Ray.
And I'd almost gone a full 3 hours without a restraining order.
Her.
Well, the night's still young.
And I need another cup of coffee.
Ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum, bum, ba-dum-dum. Da-da-da-da-dum, ba-da-dum. I remember vaguely thinking that having a newsroom would be like this cool, sexy location, and it's literally the most boring and corporate place in the entire game. So, you know.
Excuse me.
There's that.
Hi.
Certainly do.
It's pretty empty here tonight.
Well, look outside. The weather's horrible, and almost everybody commutes to work. Nobody can get in, so we're running on a skeleton crew.
So what do you do here?
I'm the head producer for the Good Morning Show.
Isn't that...
I mean, he talks a lot, so I'm just going to zip through a lot of this. Oh, wait, you know what? I'm going to
Well, thank...
Sure thing.
accuse him of stuff. That's,
A James Peebles is listed as being a client of Ray's, and the girl he saw was Heather Goffstein.
Well, this just got juicy.
Hi, Mr.
Hello, Rosangela, was it? What can I do for you?
Jim, gosh, this is awkward.
What is it?
I know that you were involved with a woman named Heather Goffstein.
And?
And Heather is dead. I was wondering if you had anything to say about that.
Just what are you implying?
Nothing. Yet.
Well, I don't see what business my personal life is of yours. So unless you've got something more substantial than a younger man's bad choices, then please leave it alone.
One thing I really am proud of here is that it's subtle, but it's there. They always talk about Heather being active many years ago. But yet the twist is still effective. I don't know. People just didn't seem to. I remember during testing, people were confused. They're like, "Wait, when did this take place? I don't understand. There's a lot of inconsistencies here." But they just thought it was me making a mistake, but I didn't. So, is he meant to remind you of Jay Leno? Nope. Rosa would have died from caffeine poisoning. Well, she died anyway. Sorry.
What can you tell me about Tanya?
I liked her. Some anchors think they're the be-all and end-all, but not her. She knew we were all in this together, and worked well with all of us. That's how you make a news show. Everyone needs to help each other.
All right, let's get out of here.
Well, thanks for your...
Sure.
Let's go to George Austin's. Oh yeah, I remember I was getting really sick of crossing George Austin's lobby, like, to get to George's apartment, so I added this.
If I switch it...
None of the testers mentioned it, but it certainly started to bother me after a while. Oh wait, no, Rosa. No, not you.
Joey, could you...
What is it?
Ray could totally file a restraining order. I mean, she's kind of in with the cops, isn't she? So, yeah, she totally could. There's my art talent. I just sort of used the blur tool in Photoshop and just blurred that out. Because I tried just darkening it along with the paper, but it wouldn't... you could still read it, and that was a problem. I had a really stupid puzzle here, originally. I think one of you mentioned you had tested an early build of this. It was probably in the game where Rosa would pick up a flashlight in George Austin's apartment and shine the light into the room so Joey could read the paper. But everyone just kept asking, why can't Joey just move the paper? Which made total sense. So, and also the shining the flashlight puzzle was weird and stupid, so I cut it.
It says, I know about Heather.
That's funny, Laura. Laura said after the game came out, she kept trying to find the flashlight and forgot it was cut. That's funny. I know about Heather.
Hi there.
Hello again, mister. What brings you by?
Mister.
I know about Heather. Do you know anything about this?
About what?
This note, the one on your floor.
I have no idea. It has nothing to do with me.
And what's it doing here?
I have no idea.
Okay, relax. The note is signed J. Who's J?
I have no idea, and I don't know anything about any note.
Are you sure you don't know anything about this note?
No, I don't know anything about any note.
Black
Please
Mirror
stop asking
games?
about it.
I assume you don't mean the British show about the dangers of technology and stuff.
Are you sure you don't know anything about this note? You're Tanya Corsi, aren't you? You're in television.
I knew you'd get it. That's me, Tanya Corsi, host of the Good Morning Show on Channel 11. Now all the mysteries.
I've mentioned before how, like, ghosts being kind of having a selective memory let me get away with a lot. So, like, yeah, there's something right in front of them, but they don't see it. And that forces you to, like, find a way to convince them, which would, like, kind of artificially create gameplay for you. So, yeah, having ghosts be the way they are was a total cheat. And I'm totally fine with that.
Are you sure?
Oh, whoops.
I met one of your producers, Jim.
What about him?
Oh, nothing. I was just wondering what you could tell me about him.
I don't spread gossip, mister. Except when I'm on the air.
Do you know anyone named Ray?
Ray? Is that all you got?
I think Ray might be involved in prostitution.
That's more of a late night news kind of story. I'm early morning. We're all about the rainbows and sunshine.
What she's talking
Do
about?
you know a Heather Goffstein?
No. No, I don't. Sorry.
Come on. That note on the floor, it has Heather written on it.
So, like I told you, it has no meaning to me. I don't know any Heather.
I know I tend to repeat myself sometimes in these streams. I talk about something that I talked about in the last one. It's mostly for the benefit of anyone new who's tuned in today. Alright, so I think we can go confront James Peebles about all we've learned. I do like the Black Mirror television show. I tried watching the last season that's on Netflix now, but the first episode disturbed me so much. And not that it was like really dark or anything. I mean, it was just about social media and stuff like that. But it was just too damn real, man. It made me feel bad, and it's hard for me to watch the rest of it, even though I hear the rest of it is very, very good.
Hi, Mr. Peebles?
Hello. What can I do?
Jim, I know everything.
Sorry?
I know who Heather is and what she did for a living. I also know that you procured her services. There was a note in Tanya's apartment that said, I know about...
That could have been anybody.
Do you really expect me to believe that now?
No, I don't.
Tell me about your involvement with Heather.
God, it was over 25 years ago. Working the late shift. So, I'm not proud of it, but I make no excuses for it either.
You said it was 25 years ago, so you stopped seeing her.
She quit the business. I didn't know what happened to her until she walked in that door. The new face of Good Morning. Tanya Corsi.
Tanya?
Yeah, the name was different. The hair was different. The whole attitude was different. But I knew.
Wait a minute. Let me get this straight.
I remember all the testers thought this was weird that I had these three options here. But it's one of those things where I really wanted to hammer you over the head, just to make sure you got it. Because just a little pause where you can see it on the screen, and so you can absorb it just a little more, in case I was being too subtle. And maybe this wasn't necessary. Okay, I'm seeing lots of stuff in the chat. You're talking about Black Mirror. I hope you're not bothered by mediocre voice acting because the game was made by Czech people. You're talking about Black Mirror, I assume, and not Blackwell, because this certainly wasn't made by Czech people. I'm pretty forgiving when it comes to voice acting. Well, you do play my games. All right.
Heather and Tanya are one and the same?
Oh god, the voice quality just took a dive.
Isn't that what all this is about?
Not the acting, the quality of the sound. I am not going to stop complaining about this.
To this newsroom. Worked here for years and never knew who I was until I told her.
Until you blackmailed her, you mean?
Look, 30 years I've been here, and I haven't moved from this damn desk.
He doesn't move from the desk at all while you're in there either.
So, I wrote her that note. I threatened to expose her past. I didn't know what to expect, but I didn't expect her to go home and for that to happen. They said she fell in the shower because she was drunk, but she was only drunk because of me. So what now?
It's completely up to you. I'm not...
You're not.
I got what I came here for.
Your voice acting is Hollywood compared to Black Mirror. I think it helps that I write the games as well as direct them.
Ever think of getting into fortune cookies?
I'm only thinking of getting my coffee refilled.
That's my girl, always planning ahead.
Yeah. I think it helps that I, since I direct the voice actors and I also wrote them, or for the games I publish, I'm actually pretty involved in the process, so I'm well aware of who the characters are. Also, look, I do have a little bit of a knack for it. I mean, I really do enjoy working with the voice actors. It's my favorite part of the process, and I've gotten a lot better at it as time has gone on. And also it also helps that these games are the way they are. You know, it's one portrait on a screen, text on the screen, and they basically read the text. And it's, if I ever was doing a Telltale style game or like a Don't Nod style game like Life is Strange, or something that requires a bit more fidelity, where the characters move and have gestures, and they're lip synced with the words, and it's actually, you need a little bit more of you need a better performance. I would probably bring someone in like Shelley or someone in to help me with the directing, because I would need it to be better. But I'm pretty good at the voiceover directing for this kind of game. I can say that after 10 years of doing it, and gosh, I think 16 games worth of voiceover. I'm no professional, but I know what I'm doing. Where am I going now? I am going to Heather.
So what exactly happened? Tanya, Heather, whoever, she killed off...
I suppose.
I didn't know ghosts could do that.
What? You read the rule book? Because I sure haven't. If we got a...
It's another case of me kind of hammering it home a little bit. A lot of the testers, when they played the game, they weren't quite sure what happened. So it's just another case of me just gently kind of explaining it to the player. I usually try to keep things subtle, and I try not to over-explain and add extra dialogue where it's not necessary, which is why I get things tested. And if people are confused, that's when I know to add a little more. So I did that here. I've got an ear for finding damn good voice actors. Thank you. Like I said, I love it. I enjoy working with them. It's my favorite part of the process. And like some of the people I've worked with have blown me away so much. People like, Abe I've known since the beginning. He's, of course, amazing. He actually went to summer camp with that guy a long time ago. Old friend of mine. Shelley, of course, and the woman who plays Lau in Technobabylon is, again, one of my finds.
Oh.
I love her.
Hi, what's up?
Look, I know who you are.
What do you mean?
You're Tanya Corsi, or at least you're gonna be.
Oh, I'm doing this in the wrong order.
I'm me. I'm Heather. Maybe I'm not sure who that is yet, but I know it's me.
All right, yeah.
Well,
I gotta see Tanya first. Da 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 da.
Locked.
Oh gosh, right.
Joey,
Forgetting how to play my own game.
what is it?
What is it? I added this thing in Unavowed where you can actually double click on an exit to get out faster. And I'm used to it, so I keep trying to do it myself. The car turning in the distance on the map screen. I love that too.
Hi there.
Hello again, mister. What brings you by?
Listen, Tanya, I know who you are.
We've already covered this, haven't we?
No, I mean who you really are. You're Heather Goffstein, or at least you were.
I told you, I don't know any Heather.
Tanya.
I don't know any Heather because Heather is gone. Heather is dead. She doesn't exist anymore. She can't.
I'm sorry, Tanya, but she does.
What do you want? Money? A promotion? Like Jim?
No, I just want you to come with me. There's someone you need to meet.
I don't have a choice, do I? Fine, lead on. But remember this, Peter didn't just teach me how to do Pilates. Take me anywhere funny, and you'll be looking at a broken nose.
I wouldn't dream of it.
Let's go.
Why are we going out there?
Just trust me.
Trust
Ooh.
you. That's rich. You. I saw you on the roof earlier. Are you in league with this man?
Kind of.
2 blackmailers instead of 1. This is just great.
Say, Tanya?
I said I would follow you, not talk to you.
Tanya.
I said I would
Whoops. Ah.
follow you, not talk to you.
I just realized there's a lot of leading ghosts around the city in this game. Only 2. Kendra and Tanya, and I think that's it. And Joey, I guess, if you count him.
Where the hell are you taking me?
Just follow us, okay?
Can I at least call my car service?
I don't think that's possible.
What do you mean?
She means that they'd never come in this weather. It's better to walk. Come on.
I love this. I love the way Tanya reacts to places you go.
You want to blackmail me and you're taking me to a police station?
Right. Maybe we should go somewhere else.
You're not very good at this, are you? You want to go back all of a sudden?
Not really, no.
Make up your mind already. Absolutely not. I am through with Peter's gym. Ever since... No, I won't go. I can't imagine what you want to show me anyway.
I can't take her there yet. We need to make her aware first.
Where are we going?
It's just up this way.
Wait.
Oh, that's right. You take Peter. Well, actually, I think Peter goes to the graveyard on his own.
I used to live here. Back when I was... Why did you bring me here? Whatever you brought me here for, get on with it.
That's the most Redmond Silverfield says, I always intentionally try to do the wrong things in games, hoping for responses like that. That's so rewarding, isn't it? I try to do the same things, and often it's like... that's why I like getting things tested by as many people as possible. I just recently got sent out an unavowed build about a week or two ago, and they gave me ideas for all sorts of fun things to do. Because things they want to try that I didn't think of.
Tanya, there's someone you need to meet.
There's nobody here I want to see, I assure you.
Even still, I just need you to follow me. Then we can forget about this whole thing.
Fine.
Hey, Heather?
Hey, who's your friend?
What is this? Who are you? Answer me.
Heather Goffstein? Who are you?
No. No. This is insane. I'm going insane.
Sorry?
You shouldn't be here. You shouldn't exist.
What's your problem?
My problem?
This was fun to write.
My problem is that I hate you.
Hate me? You don't even know me.
I destroyed you. I got rid of your name. I got rid of your hair. I would have gotten rid of your face if I could have afforded it.
You can't get rid of me that easily.
No kidding. For 20 years, I was free of you. And now you come breezing back.
Breezing back? From where?
First Jim wanted a promotion, and now this idiot here wants... I don't know what!
Hey, leave me out of this.
Not a chance, mister.
Huh?
You be quiet.
Hey!
Stop that!
Look at each other. You're the same person.
A little
Give or
trick
take.
is that I would, I think I would like speed up or slow down the voice files to try to get them to be the same length and size. That was fun to play around with.
Late to deny it.
Nothing happened. I just wanted to forget.
Forget what?
Forget you. Forget this whole life I left behind.
For some reason, Tanya's diagonal
Why are you so
idol
ashamed of me?
always looked a little weird. She's kind of got this cockeyed shoulder thing going on that
Who you become.
I never thought to have Ben fix.
Will I ever be free of you?
Do you really?
We both have a cough. It's kind of lingering from when we were both sick.
I'm just kind of lost. I know I'll find my way eventually. Isn't that the important thing? Well, isn't it?
Look at you. I really was beautiful once.
You're really beautiful now.
Damn straight. I think the achievement you get for this is called Convergence,
I haven't felt this good.
which I was very proud of.
And a colonic all at once. Speaking of which,
We are feeling good. We are feeling much better. Thank you.
and I'm going to tell Jim the same thing. Maybe it'll end my career, or maybe it'll give me a book deal. Either way, I'm tired of hiding.
Tanya, listen.
No, I'm not Tanya anymore. Tanya died. She
what?
Here comes the wind. Yay.
took. That's all I remember. You're not.
No.
I'm dead.
I'm sorry.
If I'm dead, why do I feel sick to my stomach?
No tense music
Listen,
here.
There's no time to explain. Just grab a hold of this.
What?
Just do it. That was interesting.
Did it work?
Only one way to find out.
Hey, look who's here. Heather, safe and sound.
Safe. You were always an optimist, Michael.
Sorry, I know this is not exactly the reunion we expected after all this time. But you have no idea. I thought you were... Well, I explained that already.
So, Madeline, you got your spook. What have you learned?
It is interesting. This spirit is experiencing what would be considered nausea in a living person.
This spirit? I do have a name.
Apologies. She is being pulled.
I just suddenly realized my
of another spirit at work.
face here is blocking the dialogue. I should fix that. I mean, I'm almost about to stop, but I'll fix it for next time.
Unfortunately,
Guys, call me on this stuff if it's a problem.
And we dare not lower the circle. I need to examine another
Or maybe one of you did and I didn't see it. If so, sorry.
And by another soul, you mean Peter, don't you?
Peter? Peter Fielding?
Yes, his soul is still out there.
Critch.
I see.
Okay, I think that is a good place to stop because I'm getting a little punchy now. I think I could last about 2 hours on these things. I'm not one of these hardcore streamers that can somehow have these, like, I see they have like these 5-6 hour long things, and I'm like, how do you do that? So I'm going to save it, and let's call this Start Second Stream. Actually, no, it'll be our third stream. Start Stream here 2. Save. Bottom right, you know what, I'll set that up now so it's set up for tomorrow. Right there. You know, I thought that the bottom right would work, but then like when you play the video later, whether on Twitch or on YouTube, like the little play, you know, all the little playback icons, they cover up my lovely face. So I'm going to move that up just slightly. I'll move it right here. That's a good place for it. Okay. Michael saw a ghost being ripped apart with Madeline, implying Madeline was able to do it without realizing. Couldn't she do that again with Tanya and Peter? No, because Tanya and Peter were not aware, and with Tanya, like that was the reason why Rosa and Joey need to bring these ghosts in, because they need to make the ghosts aware first before Madeline can rip them apart. So that's how it worked. Like George Austin at the very beginning, he was aware, so he was vulnerable, but Peter and Tanya were not. So, and of course you have to do them both together, because if she rips apart Tanya now, then she won't get Peter, so she needs them both there. So that's how that worked. Yeah, I spent a lot of time thinking about how all of that worked, and I'm really glad it all worked, and it's consistent with the rest of the games. So yeah, I was very proud of that. As much as I kind of messed up the lore when it came to the backstory, that actually was quite consistent. So anyway, I'm gonna shut this down now because I'm getting a little punchy. My throat's starting to get a little scratchy. But yeah, I guess I probably will not have time to do a stream over the weekend. That's not really something I can do. But I'll probably finish this game next week, I guess, sometime. So yeah, pay attention to my Twitter, pay attention to everything, and I'll announce when the next one will be. So yeah, thank you for coming, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.